This is CKC News with Anastasia Story and Ollie Wallerson with Sunny Day on Weather.
Hello there, Kids Club. I'm Anastasia Story.
And I'm Ollie Wallerson.
And welcome to CKC News. Today's top story: Jesus spits on a blind man.
Bible say what?
I couldn't make this stuff up if I tried. But let's not jump to conclusions. I have a feeling there's more to this story than we think.
I sure hope so, because Jesus is the kindest man I know.
He sure is, Ollie. And there are some weird, wacky, wild stories in the Bible. Some I'm sure our viewers have never heard before.
Why are these stories in the Bible? And what can they teach us about God? More on that when we return. Until then, here's our infield reporter Chris with an expose on the miracle of mud.
Dirt plus water equals mud. Sloppy, yucky, glorious mud. When's the last time you got your hands dirty in some good old mud? Mud is awesome. It's better than Play-Doh because it doesn't dry so quickly. And some scientists even believe playing in the mud is actually healthy because it can give your body natural immunities. You wouldn't expect that though, just looking at it. Like literally, it's dirty, it's full of dirt. You might not believe that mud is useful for making bricks, taking care of your skin, even creating works of art. Maybe you played in the mud when you were really, really little. Maybe you still do. Maybe you made mud pies, mud castles, mud racetracks. But you know who else did something amazing with mud? Did you say Jesus? You're right. There's a story in the Bible about Jesus using mud to heal a person, because sometimes God helps in unexpected ways.
Today's top story involves Jesus, God's son, maybe you've heard of him, and a blind man, whose name we don't know.
Since I have a feeling that this story might be one of Jesus' miracles, let's call him Seymour. Get it? Seymour?
I see what you did there, Ollie.
Seymour is going to see more, a whole lot more, in a little bit. But for now, he's still blind. Let's go back to Chris to tell us more about this story.
By the way, this story is actually in the Bible in John chapter 9. You can read it. I can't. I mean, I can read normally, but blindfold. So anyway.
Seymour has been blind since birth. Imagine what that must have been like for Seymour as a baby, not being able to see your own mom and dad, not knowing what they looked like. As Seymour grew up, he got to know certain people's voices, of course, but still, you'd have to have a lot of trust just to get around and do normal stuff. Stuff you and I probably take for granted if our eyes work like they should, like going up and down steps, or reaching for food on a table, or riding your bike.
Looks like we lost video there, Chris, but we hear that message loud and clear.
Up next, we get a look at a new style of facials. Our reporter Abby is live from her home. Abby?
All right, here we go. Aww. Ah. Ah! How am I gonna do this? Dun 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 dun! Alright. Oh yeah. I'm gonna go wash the dishes and try to get to the kitchen to wash them. Here we go.
Okay, come here, Abby. Come here. Follow me. Be careful. There's a door here. I'm right here. Come on.
Is there anything on the floor?
Now just do the dishes.
Just do the dishes?
Just do the dishes.
Right. Doing the dishes with cucumbers on my eyes. What's that?
That looks like an avocado.
Do you want to eat it? Nothing. That feels pretty clean. I don't think that needs to be washed. This doesn't even feel dirty. Clean. I think the dishes are fine. I don't really do dishes anyways. I think we're good.
What you doing, Abby?
Just feed the dog. Otto! Aw, man. That's the third time that's happened today. Do you want to eat? She got it. Is she doing it? Good job, buddy. That was a lot harder than it normally is. I couldn't find her mouth. I just heard her going. Is that in her mouth? I think she's distracted. Brad, you already had one. Okay. Snack time. You weren't around. Okay. Sit. Sit. See, I can even dog train with this thing on. Is he sitting? Yep. Okay. Good boy, Otto. Good boy. I got it zipped.
Wow! Who knew you could feed a baby while
I
blindfolded?
tell ya, it's not a normal task, but luckily Abby is a trained professional.
And did you see the size of that dog?
I did, Ollie. I did.
Oh, we have Chris with more on a developing story. Chris?
Okay, back to our story. The blind man we're calling Seymour was at the temple in the middle of the city, Jerusalem, and Jesus saw him. Believe it or not, there were some people who assumed that Seymour was born blind because of something Seymour did, or something his parents did, as if it were God's punishment on Seymour that he wouldn't be able to see. But Jesus said,
It isn't because this man sinned. It isn't because his parents sinned. He was born blind so that God's power could be shown by what's going to happen. While I am in the world, I am the light of the world. Then Jesus spit on the ground and made some mud with the spit and put it on the man's eyes.
Okay, seriously, Jesus, making mud with your spit to heal a blind man? That's so awesome and random and kind of gross, but also awesome. Oh, yuck. So that happened. Who knew spitting was in the Bible? Anyway, Jesus really did make some mud spit and put the mud on Seymour's eyes. Now, you might think this was the moment when Seymour was healed, but it wasn't.
Then Jesus said, Go, wash in the pool of Siloam. Siloam means sent. So the man went and washed, and he came home able to see.
Hold up, did you catch that? Jesus puts mud on a blind man's face and tells him to walk to another place? Turns out the distance from where Seymour was by the temple to the pool of Siloam was 720 meters, or 2,362 feet, which is almost half a mile, which is a long way to walk if you can't see. So that walk, at minimum, would have taken 10 minutes. Imagine what that must have been like for Seymour, to walk down all those steps, past all those people, with mud on your face. You'd have to have a ton of trust. And my friend John's going to teach us what trust is all about.
Let's talk about trust. When you trust someone, you believe they'll do what they say they'll do, or they are who they say they are. You trust or have faith that they're telling you the truth. Here's another example of trust. I've had this chair for a really long time. It's strong and sturdy, and it's never broken. Whenever I sit in this chair, it holds me up and I don't fall. So I trust that if I sit in it right now, it'll hold me. Or here's another example. Every time I eat a donut, it's sweet and delicious. So I trust that when I take a bite of this, it's gonna be good. And I might get a little bit of a sugar rush. Or maybe there's a person you trust. Maybe there's a person who always shows up when they say they will, or they say they love you and then act like they love you. So you trust them. Trust or faith is about believing you know the truth because someone or something is consistent. That means it doesn't go changing all of a sudden. So if we're talking about God, trusting him looks like believing he is who he says he is. And God calls himself a lot of different things, like good, strong, kind, loving, our Father, holy, wise, generous, forgiving, and lots more. So when we trust God, we believe him when he says he cares for us. We believe him when he says he has a plan for us. We believe him when he says he forgives us. We believe him when he says we can talk with him. We believe him when he says he is good. We believe him when he says he is always with us. It takes time to build trust, but the good news is God has always and will always be the same. No matter what, God is trustworthy.
Back now with a bit of a messy weather report. Let's throw it to Sunny Day.
I'm reporting on what feels like the mud storm of the century to learn more about trusting God. Trusting God can be difficult, especially with something that's not in your control, like being born blind or having an illness. I mean, imagine a whole lifetime of being blind, like our guy Seymour. Again, we don't know much about him, not even his real name, but from his story, it seems like Seymour was really good at trusting. He trusted Jesus and he was healed. We can trust God to help us too. Sometimes having faith in Jesus means trusting him even when things are tough. You might pray for something you want or need and then have to wait a long time before you get an answer. You might be in a situation where things are out of your control and you need to trust that God's in control and will keep you safe. I mean, it's easy to trust Jesus and say you do, but it can be hard to actually do it. We have to practice trust. We have to remember how God has been faithful or how he's kept his promises to us in the past. And then we have to train ourselves to trust him. I'm Sunny Day, and I trust God.
Thank you, Sunny, and thank you, Kids Club, for tuning in. I'm Anastasia's Story.
And I'm Ollie Wallers.
And this is CKC News, where sometimes the news
Is really old. Thank you for watching. That's mine, Anastasia.
Okay.
All right, we're finishing this. There we go. Yeah.